We totally know how to do this. And to your point, most of the nuclear plants that we have today are now 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. We know how to build much better versions of
course
those.
Yes.
Like we know how to build much more sophisticated versions of this. And by the way, so do the Japanese and others. And so the new plants would be much better than the old plants. They would be much safer. We know exactly how to do this. My devious plan is we should reincarnate Project Independence. We should build 1,000 new civilian plants. We should do the Nixon plan, cut everything over. But here's my way to get it done politically, which is we give Charles Koch the contract. And the reason is because it accomplishes everybody's goals. He would do it.
You'd better give us 2 sentences on who Charles Koch is.
Charles Koch, so people know the Koch brothers was always a misnomer. I mean, there were brothers, but really it was Charles. When people think about the Koch brothers,
Charles Koch was the businessman of the brothers.
The genius of the family, and is the guy who ran Koch, still runs Koch Industries, which is one of the largest companies in the country, one of the largest private companies in the world.
And stands out in American business history, as I recall, I think I have this correct, that Charles Koch and his brothers inherited a modest, successful but modest company from their father and built it into a company which last time I checked had revenues of, well, I don't know whether it was revenues or market. It's a company that's worth $100 billion. I believe that that's correct as of a few years ago, and did it without ever borrowing a penny.
That's right.
They did it entirely on reinvesting profits.
And they reinvest by doctrine. Under Charles's leadership, they reinvest 90% of profits every year.
Okay, so why is he going to be interested in nuclear?
By the way, I don't know what it's worth, but I suspect it's
bigger than that.
It's very large. I think it's very large and very successful.
All right,
if it were to go public, But yeah, look, I mean, Charles is one of the, number one, Charles is one of the genius businessmen, industrialists of our time. He also became, of course, a major force in politics. He and the Koch brothers got tarred with this, they're fascist Nazis, even though, as you probably know, Charles is a libertarian.
Yes.
He's a libertarian free market guy. He's a Millet. He and Millet basically have sort of identical politics. Milton Friedman, he's a libertarian.
I've interviewed him on this program.
Yeah, and by the way, also just a wonderful human being, really, warm and genuine, incredibly open, wonderful guy. So my idea is you give him the contract to do it because number one, he'd do a great job because it's one of the best industrialists in the world, right. And then two is he would win because Koch Industries would be rebuilding the power system for the U.S. and then the Democrats would win because they'd make Charles Koch care about climate change. And not just that, but actually solve it.
All right.
And so everybody would get both what they most hate and most want. Now,
win.
When I have floated this idea in Washington up until now, I haven't gotten a lot of takers, but maybe it's time to bring it up again.